What's going on, everybody? My name is JStatik, and today we're doing a song breakdown for Jasmine Sandlas' song Guglu Muglu, and let's jump right into it. You'll see that a lot of this is just some melodies, drum loops, bass lines, and then down at the bottom we got Jasmine's vocals. So we're going to be going through and just showing off what we did in terms of production, arrangement, and all that good stuff. Just a quick note, when I was going through this, I realized that I can't actually open up some of the VSTs or UAD plugins because one of my Apollo Twins actually shut down. So you'll see that at the bottom it says disabled. So when we're going through it, it's not a true replication of what I actually did in terms of mixing, but it's close enough that you guys get an idea of what I did. And jumping in, let's go through the patterns. So right off the bat, we got a nice, simple sine wave bass line from Nexus 3. I did have some Voice of God on there, but I took it off. So it's just a simple, straight sine wave. Zoom in a little bit so you guys can see it. So next we got the kick. And on the kick, I just did some simple stuff, rolled off everything below 42 hertz, added in a UAD DBX 160 for that attack. And that's it. Just has a nice little glue to it with the bass line. That's it for that. Now, in terms of melody-wise, played some chords that were from plucked chords. One, I don't know where it's from, but it was a nice, cool-sounding chord. So it sounds like this. On that, I threw some Voice of God just to add some low-end fatness to it. I threw on the side chain so that every time the kick hit, kind of ducks it out a little bit, which happens later on, which is over here. So you'll hear that. It just ducks at the beginning of each hit. After that, some C4. Control some of that mid-range, low mids, and bass line part of it. And then there was a little bit of a spot here where every time the kick hit, it interfered with that frequency. So I brought that down just to control that. Is when the kick hits, it's fully there and it pops out. Now for the next part of the chords, I did this. Nothing crazy, just kept them a little bit more solid sounding, and didn't have to make space for the kick there, just because it was doing the job that I needed to do with the bass line. So all three of those together sounds like this. That's it for that. Now, over here, I had some little bell sounds, which I thought sounded really cool. That's it for that. And I think I had some samples that I found. So what is this? There you go. Sounds really cool. The next part of the melody was the horns. The horns were really cool. They sound like this on their own. Now this horn part is super dynamic, so I threw on some hard Renaissance axe just to have every note hit like it was completely crushed and playing at the same time. Sounded really cool. Now with it together and all the pieces, it sounds like this. Really cool. Has a nice little variation for about four bars, which I liked a lot. In terms of the rest of the drums on top of the kick, I'll show you guys that right now. So we had some rim shots. Had another rim shot, which had no reverb on it. So nice 4-bar loop so it doesn't get boring. And then I had these hi-hats. I don't know what this is, but nice little sarangi hit, which sounded really cool. Had some snares on this. Had another snare from this Boy Wonder kit. Together sounded like this. And I had this it's cool because it's a little bit percussive just with a hit. It sounds really nice. It sounds like it's part of the drum kit, even though it's not. Simple little crash. After that, had these West Coast rides. So they sound like this. Really cool, just filled in that sound a little bit. And then just to top it off, I had these little hi-hat hits. Just because the whole song is really compressed, this adds a little bit of bounce to the drum pattern, which I thought was really cool. Just give you an idea what all that sounds like together, just the drums on their own. That's it for that. That was pretty simple. And then had some effects that came in. So here's those. And then the Super 8 panned. In terms of effects, I believe wasn't much more. The Hold Me riser, which I use quite a bit. I love that riser. Honestly, that was it for that part. I think over here I just had more of a sarangi type of like piecework piece a little bit. So this is really simple. I just found one which was in the same rag, but then I just messed with it a little bit. So I pitched this up by 8. And then I brought this down by 1 and left this +1. Was that down by 1? Yeah, sorry, +1 and +1. And then I pitched this up +6. Left it at 0. -1. That way it has like its own little piecework part. I couldn't get anyone to play it, so I just made it myself. I think it's the best way to do it. So when you hear this piece come in, cool little variation to the whole song. And that was it for that portion of it. And I think I had some more chords that came in the chorus as well, which are right here. Simple enough, just filler sounds. Doesn't really do much to the song. Just when it gets to the chorus sounds like it goes somewhere. After that, I had some of Jasmine's vocals to actually work on. So there was 2 sets. Had a couple of left, rights, and harmony left and rights. And then I had the main vocals. So let's go through the main vocals and I'll show you what exactly was put on there just to, process them. And again, once again, I am sorry about the whole Apollo twin situation where I couldn't load as many VSTs as I wanted to, but it is what it is. Just kind of got to deal with it. So here are the vocals. This is what they sound like. You can even hear the delay in the vocal sounds, like they're not timed properly. That's due to the UAD as well, because it's loading that part from the CPU, so it's buffering and trying to deal with the whole latency issue. Show you guys what it sounds like. So you heard the vocal before. Now with this vocal, I'm going to turn off the effects, but as soon as I do, UAD is going to shut off as well. So I'm going to show you what I did, but you're not going to be able to hear the difference. But at least you can see what I was doing and what I was going for. So now turn these back on. Let's go through it. You'll hear some of the effects because not everything is UAD, but some of the stuff you won't hear, like the Manly and the LA2A, just like that. So now let's go through. First and foremost, you have the UAD API 2500, which is still working. Add some add some compression right off the bat. After that, reduce some of the low end. Clean up the vocal, make it sound a little bit tighter. And then there's a lot of low mids in this vocal recording. So what I did was reduce about 287 hertz, about 4 dB. And then there was a 1.8K, 2.5K, and 3 kilohertz frequencies that were kind of ear piercing. So I got rid of those. After that, threw on some LA2A to flatten it back out. Then added some Oxford suppressors. I think I would have mixed this vocal differently in this day and age, but it is what it is. The song's a couple of years ago. And then after that, wanted some life in the vocal, added some JJP. And the vocal, yeah, hitting that red line. After that, definitely some distortion. Added some, dipped out some of that 3K harshness. If you see that's not working. And then after that, show you those three together. Had a C4, Renaissance Axe, and the RVox. Now those three together, you'll see, control some of that mid-range. Bring out some life into that vocal again, and then some RVox just to bring it right back out to the front of the speakers. And that's how I describe RVox. Just brings everything to the front. Once I had that whole chain, I basically just took it and I duplicated it. And because I loved it so much, probably did some minor tweaks, but nothing major. Added on to each one of those layers so that each one of the layers had some nice vocal chain effects to it. I could have just done it to the entire group, which would have saved a lot of CPU power, but I feel like in this case, I needed to add it to each individual layer so that each layer was properly set up. And that's it for this Jasmine Sandlas song. There wasn't much else to it. There was a couple of vocal effects that she had. And then we had this line which she had, I think she re-sang it, or either, no, I had it from the original vocal. Guglu Muglu ho gaya pa. And that was the reason for the name of the whole song. It was pretty jokes. And that was the entire production, arrangement, layout, vocal mix, and everything that was going on in the song. I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you did, please comment, like, subscribe. Definitely hit that bell for future notifications and stay tuned for more song breakdowns. Peace.